Hey everybody, it's time for another 40K book review, and this time around we are reviewing the 2018 Codex Blood Angels. This is a new hardback game supplement for Warhammer 40,000, which will be adding new rules, basically stratagems and relics, and some army-specific rules for the Blood Angels. Everybody's favorite army of intergalactic Space Draculas. So if you guys have not played or read about the Blood Angels before, they are the cursed former favorites, basically, of the Adeptus Astartes. Sanguinius dies fighting Horus, and his psychic death stream basically infects the DNA and the gene seed of all future Blood Angels, where occasionally they go crazy, turn into monstrous murder machines, and descend to something called the Black Rage because of the echo of his death in their subconscious. This is a secret that was already happening. The Black Rage was basically already happening during the Great Crusade, and Sanguinius tried to hide it, and it was exacerbated by his death during the Horus Heresy. So the Blood Angels and all their successors are cursed, trying to find a way to basically overcome the Black Rage. So far, only one Space Marine's done it. His name is Mephiston. If you guys want to see what he looked like before he became Mephiston, the super intergalactic Brock Samson space vampire, he was actually the librarian from the Space Hulk board game. Fun fact, Brother Calistarius becomes Mephiston. This is stupid 40K knowledge that I have in my head. So we're going to do this review a little bit differently than before. I'll be honest, I don't say there's not a ton for me to review. There's lots to review, but the book itself is very similar to the previous edition's Codex. I think it even has the same cover. The art is generally the same. There's a lot of old art in here. The photography, of course, is mostly new, as most of the photography inside includes new things such as the Primaris Marines. So you've got new units like the Repressor, the Redemptor Dreadnought, all the different Primaris flavors of Space Marines being added into the various pictures of different duders. So I will take some stills of just like the artwork and stuff like that, so you can check it out, and you guys will be able to see it up there. But what have we got as far as new and exciting rules? Well, of course, right, I guess background should be where I start. Well, there's a bit of a description on how all the different chapters are dealing with the inclusion of the Primaris Marines over the 100 years that they've now been around, timeline-wise, and sort of like how they've been indoctrinated and brought into the different chapters, how those chapters are doing, such as the Flesh Tearers, who are, slowly going crazy, hunting dinosaurs on Cretaceous, and all the other sort of subsidiary chapters of the Blood Angels, little just tidbits here and there. For the most part, if you're a veteran Blood Angel player, there's enough meat on the bone, basically, to keep you excited, as it brings everything up to the current timeline. And if you're brand new, it does a great job of just explaining the Blood Angels in general, right back to the beginning. So let's talk about Warriors of Baal. We're gonna get into some actual rules here. Keywords. Throughout the section, you'll come across data sheets with the Blood Angels keyword. This indicates that units are drawn from the Blood Angels chapter. If you are a successor chapter, replace the term Blood Angel on everything in here with whatever your successor chapter name is. The one restriction, of course, is you cannot use named characters if you're playing a successor. So no, not Dante's. If you want not Lamartis and not Dante and not Corbulo, it's not a thing anymore. You need to play Blood Angels to use all those chapters. I don't think anyone's gonna convert a not Corbulo or a not Dante and then have their friends say, no, don't play it. But strictly speaking, in the rules of the book, you're not supposed to be doing the not named character versions of the named characters. There's like no mechanical difference in the game as to what color your space dollies are painted though, so I would just ignore that rule and explain to your opponent that these are just yellow Blood Angels if you're doing Lamenters, or these are slightly darker red if you're doing Flesh Tearers, or whatever. Of course, if you want to use certain ones, like Gabriel Seth, of course, is in here, and he is Chapter Master of the Flesh Tearers. You have to play Flesh Tearers. So it does kind of cut both ways. You could never have both in the same army. Like you couldn't have Dante and Lamartis hanging out with what's his name, with Gabriel Seth. So yeah, it's not so bad. Of course, most of the stats are the same as they were in the 20. If they were going to change, it would have been changed in the chapter approved, or they were changed by just the new edition. So I'm not going to recognize what stats have changed. A lot of this is pulled from the main Index Imperium 1, so all the Primaris stuff, it's just going to be the same as all the Primaris stuff, the Redemptor Dreadnought, all those things. And then, what new things were you given access to besides that? Of course, you've got the company champion, the company ancient, the lieutenant, which are all new for this edition. They were in the index as well. The cataphractic terminators and terrorist pattern terminators, which were in this edition as well. Previous edition, I don't know if you were allowed access to them. I think you were. I think when they added that chapter proof stuff, it was just available to everybody. We've got Vanguard veterans, Stern Guard veterans, Furioso Dreadnought, Contemptor Dreadnought, Redemptor Dreadnought, Assault squads, bike squads, attack bikes, land speeders, inceptors, scout bikes, hellblasters, devastators, predators, battle predators, of course, the specialty Blood Angel Predator, hunters, stalkers, whirlwinds, vindicators, land raiders, land raider crusader, redeemer, razorbacks, rhinos, drop pods, land speeder storms, repulsors, and the Stormhawk Interceptor and the Storm Raven gunship, and then the Storm Talon gunship. That's the whole thing I'm thinking of. Yeah, the Storm Talon gunship exists. Noticeably absent still, Ironclad Dreadnoughts. Don't know why. Didn't have the Ironclad Dreadnoughts in. Still some only Space Marines get, which sucks because they're my favorite. And I have a whole bunch of unbuilt Blood Angels and Dark Angels lying around, and like Space Wolves lying around. So I'm trying to figure out what next chapter to do next. And so far, it's not going to be Blood Angels because I got no Ironclad Dreadnought, and I really want to build my 2 Ironclad Dreadnoughts. I guess now we get on to the meat of the new stuff, as obviously you guys have seen everything else. Sons of Sanguinius, special abilities, Defenders of Humanity, it's your OBSEC. If everyone in the detachment shares a Blood Angels keyword, you get the OBSEC, basically break ties, or break, always secure an objective, unless somebody else has the OBSEC rule for their army. And then Red Thirst, in any turn in which the ability, and this ability is, in a unit with this ability charged, or make a heroic intervention, you get to add +1 to its wound rolls. That's really cool. And of course, it is infantry, biker, dreadnought, and apart from servitors, get +1 to wound. So that's pretty cool with like lightning claw terminators going in at strength 4, wounding everything up to toughness 7 on 4s, like re-rolling everything. That was like the immediate like thing that popped into my head. There's a lot of ways to stack attacks in this army too. Of course, you can give extra attacks through a psychic power. You can give extra attacks through giving them extra lightning claw. So 4 attack terminators going in, wounding most of the world on 4s, re-rolling fails, and instead of chaplaining with them, so they roll hits too. It's just like that'll mulch something real good. Those guys get a lot of work done. So those are your key army traits. And then you got your stratagems. Now you have 8 stratagems total. 3 are the basic Space Marine ones. So Auspex Scan, Wisdom of the Ancients, and Tactical Flexibility. So Wisdom of the Ancients lets you use your dreadnoughts for a CP like a captain. Everybody within 6 rerolls 1s. Auspex Scan, which is one of my favorites. A unit shows up within 12 of you from reinforcements, 1 CP. You can fire it at -1 to hit, out of turn. And then Tactical Flexibility, use stratagem to serve any select a friendly combat unit with the combat squad ability in 10 models and split it in half. So if you want to make a big unit into 2 units, you can actually do it mid-game for a CP. Then you have the Armory of Bale, which is the same. I shouldn't say it's a new ability because it's really not. It's to spend a CP for an extra relic or 3 CPs for 3 extra relics. I think everybody gets to buy an extra relic one. Same with where is it? There's the one where you get your CPs back. Oh no, it's a relic, sorry. Everybody gets that relic too. Forlorn Fury, for 2 CPs, you can make a Death Company unit make a free move at the beginning of the game before the game starts. Behold the Golden Host, you can extend your Death Mask's range to 12 inches for 1 CP when they arrive from reinforcements. Death Visions of Sanguinius, 1 CP. You can select a Blood Angels Captain, Chaplain, or Lieutenant, other than Primaris models. And that model may gain the Death Company keywords. You can have a guy succumb to the Black Rage, but it can't be a Primaris guy, because I guess they fixed the Black Rage in all the Primaris Marines, hilariously. Wisdom of the Ancients I already talked about. Strike of the Archangels. Use this immediately after a Blood Angels Terminator unit from your army is set up on the battlefield. You can reroll failed hit rolls for them until the start of the next turn. So again, pretty cool for lightning claw terminators or just shooting terminators. And that's it. So really the only newest ones are Death Visions of Sanguinius, Strike of the Archangels, Behold the Golden Host, and Forlorn Fury. The rest of them are some variation, like the Armory of Bale. Get extra relics is a variation of the one that all Space Marines have, and the other 4 from the standard Space Marine list. Then you've got the other 14, because I guess there's a total of 22 in here. Cluster Mines, Upon Wings of Fire, Orbital Bombardments, Masterful Marksmanship, Data Link Telemetry. This is all stuff that, again, is from the regular Space Marine Codex. Linebreaker, Bombardment, Kill Shot, Empiric Channeling, Lucifer, Powder, and Engines. This is a different one. This is actually Blood Angels only. Use a stratagem before advancing with a Blood Angels vehicle from your army, other than dreadnoughts or vehicles that can fly. Increase its move by 6, so d6 plus 6. So you basically get your supercharged engines back. Upon Wings of Fire, use a stratagem in your movement phase before moving a Blood Angels jump pack unit. Remove the unit from the battlefield and stick them anywhere in the battlefield more than 9 inches away from the enemy. So you can like re-deep strike a unit, cost you 1 CP. That's pretty cool. Hellfire Shells, Heavy Bolters can do mortal wounds. Again, it's a one from the standard line or Space Marine stuff. Descent of Angels, Blood Angels jump back troops, roll 3d6 to determine these charges instead of 2d6 for 2 CP, so you can get a supercharge off with guys jump packs. Red Rampage, add d3 to the attacks characteristic of a Blood Angels character from your army that charge earlier that turn for 1 CP. And Vengeance of Sanguinius, they get Armor of Contempt and Flux Missile from the regular Space Marine one. And that is, you get basically, what's it called in the Chaos Space Marine Army? It's called Death of the False Emperor. You get Death of the False Emperor, but against Chaos units from the Black Legion. And you get it on a 4+ against Black Legion. So Chaos, you get it on a 6, you generate an extra attack. Against Black Legion, you generate a 4+. Because you hate them, because Horus killed your Primarch. So the Space Draculas getting access to, I would say, it was 4 on the first page, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, looks like 9, 10 new ones. 10 new stratagems. You get your 6 Warlord traits, Speed of the Primarch, always fight first in the fight phase. Again, this is something that, having looked at the chapter approved last week, whenever I looked at the chapter approved, the new chapter approved, this seems to be a common one for Space Marine characters. The Space Wolves have got it as part of their new Warlord traits. Artisan of War, add 1 to your damage character for weapon, cannot be a relic. Soul Warden, attempt to resist a psych power as if you were a psychic guy, so you can try and deny the witch. Heroic Bearing, friendly Blood Angels units within 6 always pass morale tests. Gift of Foresight, roll a d6 every time you lose a wound. On a 1, re-rolling rolls of 1. On a 6, the wound is ignored. If your Lord has Black Rage, you ignore them on a 5, 6, but the similar ability to ignore wounds to Black Rage has no effect. So you get basically see the future. See your own death coming and try and avoid it. It's neat that you reroll 1s, so it's a 5-up save rerolling 1s, which is pretty different for a shrug. And then Selfless Valor, your Warlord can perform Heroic Intervention if he's within 6 instead of within 3, so you can jump in on guys charging your troop choices. Then we got our Relics of Baal. Of course, all those Warlord traits are not accessible to anyone who's a character. I get the Hammer of Baal, which is a Thunder Hammer that's not -1 to hit, and it's flat damage 3. Pretty cool. Makes Thunder Hammers maybe get modeled on something. Angel's Wing, you can reroll failed charge rolls for a model with the Angel's Wing that has a jump pack, and it cannot be overwatched against. Great guy to lead a charge in, so you have a deep striking guy with a jump pack, and then have him go in and not be able to be shot. The Veritas Vitae, I think every army's got this at some point. When you spend use stratagem, on a 5+, you get a CP back, so it's like your CP recycler. Galleon Staff, it's a standard force staff. It can be given to someone with a force staff. And it adds 1 to smite rolls, so add 1 to your psych test when you're casting smite. The Archangel's Shard, it's a power sword, or a mastercrafted power sword, and it is range melee, type melee, user strength, -3 damage, -3 AP and damage 1. And then if it's targeting a monster, it's damage D3. If it's targeting a demonic monster, it's damage D6. So it's a demon killer. And then Standard Sacrifice, within 6 inches of it, on a 5+, you basically save your wounds back. It's a wound shrug. But it does not affect guys with Black Rage, because they're already too crazy. And then you get your Sanguinary Discipline for your psychic powers. You have Quickening. Psyker gets to add 3 to advance and charge rolls and make D3 additional attacks. He can Unleash Rage, unit within 6, cast on a 7. Unleash Rage, cast on a 6. Select a Blood Angels unit within 12, give him +1 attack till start the next psychic phase for a 6+. Shield of Sanguinius, 5+ invuln for Blood Angels within 12 of the Psyker on a 6. Blood Boil, cast on a 6. Select a visible enemy within 6 inches of the Psyker and roll 2d6. If the total exceeds the highest toughness characteristic of the target unit, suffers D3 mortal wounds. If the total roll is double, it suffers 3 mortal wounds flat. Blood Lance, cast on a 6. If manifested, select a visible unit within 12 and draw a line between them and you. Roll a d6 for every model it passes under for top, and on a 5+ to take a mortal wound. Wings of Sanguinius has a warp charge value of 5. If manifested, the Psyker can immediately move as if it was your movement phase. It's like a baby warp time just for you. And your move characteristics increase to 12 and you fly. So you grow big invisible Final Fantasy VII wings and fly away. And then until the end of the next round, you gain reroll charges as well. You got some new tactical objectives. I'm not gonna go through those because I don't care about them. I don't play enough with the tactical objectives. There's 6 new ones, basically replacing 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 with Valor of the Angels, Area Assault, Purity Through Bloodshed, Decapitating Strike, Swift Advance, and Noble Self-Sacrifice. Yeah, I hate reading through tactical objectives, so I'm not gonna do it. You'll see soon enough. I don't think they're not as valuable information as the rest of this is. And then we're on to point costs. And again, I don't think anything's super different. And yeah, there's my review. New Codex, Blood Angels, yay, Space Draculas. You got some new cool stuff, some new stratagems, and some new toys to play with. And yeah, we'll see what comes up next. I hope you enjoyed this review. We'll see you for more reviews in the future. Till then, I'm Ash. Have a great meeting. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below to get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.